Anyway, let's jump right into Hogwarts Legacy. So this game came out this week. It technically launched today. We're recording on Friday,
True.
February 10th. But I think all of us got the deluxe edition, right, to play early.
Played early,
So,
yes, yeah.
So we've been playing it for several days now, and boy, are we having a good time. This is a really good video game, and it is awesome. Now, are we all on PS5? I know Derek can play PS5 because I bought it and we game share, but everyone else on PS5?
Yeah, I'm on PS5.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't trust PC ports on open world games that are from like unproven. Not that they're on an unproven developer, but they certainly haven't done a game like this. So like, I didn't trust the PC port at all. Like, I was just like, no, not gonna risk it. I'm gonna go console.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah,
so far it's been good.
They've been very console centric, right? As a developer, like I don't think they've
Disney Infinity. I mean, like that was
Disney Infinity was on PC.
I don't think it was on PC. No. Okay, yeah.
But scope-wise, it wasn't the same size as.
Not at all. Like it was big, open, like playgrounds. So like they kind of had an idea of like how to fill a hub area with like activities.
Gotcha. But they're so like they're worlds, right? They're worlds you go to.
Yeah, worlds.
Kind of like Disney Dreamlight Valley.
And like by pretty big, I don't mean like as big as Hogwarts, obviously, but like
you're like open areas.
Yeah, they're like open areas with lots of activities and things to do. So
it just felt like leading up to it felt like just a daunting game for them to achieve any success with. But
I thought they were never going to fill the shoes with just their, not that they have a bad pedigree, but again, just the scope of what they're used to.
This kind of is like I'm gonna forget their name, but you guys will know who I'm talking about. Going to Horizon from
Killzone, Guerrilla Games. That was Guerrilla.
So Guerrilla Games, I know when they first made the announcement, a lot of people were like, especially since their last Killzone wasn't that great. So a lot of people didn't have a lot of faith that they could do something completely different, open world, and they did. To me, they nailed it. This same thing with this game. Like, I'm only a few hours in, but the biggest thing that I was going to say in the context of what we're talking about is I was playing tonight right before we recorded, and I was like, this game is way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Like, I actually thought that like a part of the map that I was on was the whole map, and then like I hit down a little more, and then kept on hitting down and down and down, and I was like, oh, and then there's all the up, like it was. I don't know, maybe 8 times. It was literally 8 times bigger than I thought it originally was. So I just didn't scroll across the entire map.
When I envisioned this game, like when they announced it and they started showing it, I was like, okay, it's it's gonna have like a little school area, and then they're probably gonna have like open areas that you can like transport to, and then you can kind of like go around and look around at. But I'm like, no, this is.
I thought it would be a loading screen to Hogsmeade and a loading screen to like the forest portion.
Open world.
It's so open world, and at the sacrifice of like some doors being like 1 or 2 second like loading, but like that doesn't bother me, I guess, as much as I saw some reviews bothering them.
It's the sneaky loading, and I'm here.
It's sneaky loading, and it's fine. It does bring the game to a halt, but I almost never notice it.
They slow you down to load the screen.
God of War Ragnarok did it right, as he had to scooch between a cart.
Yeah, there's no scooching loading. At all.
It's not scooch loading.
There's just genuine loading. Like you can see a circle and you're like, oh, it's loading. There's no pretending. Like when it's loading.
But I'm okay with that because once you realize how big the scope of the world is and how many random things are happening all around you. From,
I agree.
People
especially when you finally because I have a broom now at this point that you can just summon anywhere in the world. So once you're outside of the castle, that's really when the loading happens the most. Is when you're in Hogwarts, which is already a big map on its own with several floors. Once you go outside, that's when the loading mostly happens, is when it's like, oh, we got to render this real quick. Hold on. But as soon as you jump on that broom and fly around, there's no loading. It's just you flying around infinitely. And it blows my mind. It just
wasn't that a cool mission? Like once I got on the broom, I was just like, oh, this feels really good. Which like, you never know. You never know how traversal is going to feel in like games.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was like, I don't know how this is going to feel to control. Why? Because flying is always a crapshoot with some games. Like it's just... That could be the one thing that prevents the game from being truly great. Is like, well, the flying is awful. Like early GTA games. I hated flying in those games.
It's not fun to fly like in San Andreas, but it is in GTA 5. But there was bad things about
exactly. It's more arcadey in GTA 5 and achievable. Whereas before, I'm like, this is a flying mission. Oh God!
Yeah,
You know, whereas this, I'm like,
pitching,
let me just summon my broom and just fly right. Like I'll fly anywhere. It's so much
Which
fun.
it should be fun. I mean, that's like one of the
there's a lot of like fun first like philosophy in this game. Like we just want this to be fun. And it's all over it, and I think the fandom's all over it too. And it feels like just a love letter to a bunch of people who really like this world and stuff like that. And it's cool, man. Like it's blowing me away. Tim, how much have you played of it? I don't think I've even talked to you much about in the chat outside of just a couple things. But like, how far are you? And
pretty early. I did a lot of wandering and exploring the school because I love the verticality of it. Like, there's so many flights of stairs to go up and down. I was like, dude, how is this game so big?
Cool.
So I was just going on finding pages and like exploring stuff and adding to my field guide. I kept finding all the field guide pages and like I was just doing that stuff. Did a couple of like
that feels good. Yeah,
friendly missions where you have to lead the moth with your Lumos back to the frame and like just little missions like that.
You'll find those everywhere.
I think I played for like probably an hour, maybe hour and a half before
you solved it.
I did. Yeah,
I didn't.
Oh,
you being a naughty boy? Yeah, you being a bad boy.
At all. So before I even went to Hogsmeade, which is kind of where the main narrative starts to take a little bit of shape. You kind of start to meet some key players.
There is a big fight there.
By the way,
before I even did that, I didn't even like I was just wandering the school exploring. I did 2 classes, then I was just like I was already doing open worldy type stuff just in that one section of this massive game. So I just now yesterday got past the Hogsmeade part. So there's a big fight there and some stuff happens, and then you go back to the school after all that happens.
You learn some names. Mainly that's what the narrative, the intro to Hogsmeade is like once you do the big fight, you just learn some names of some people that are going to pop up regularly.
And a main character that kind of makes a return from the intro sequences. There's some anyway. So I thought it was really good. I thought it was so far it's really fun, but I have not gotten to like I'm not even close to the broom part. I don't think I'm, not to the point where it feels like an open world game. But when you walk to Hogsmeade with your friend that you pick to go with, and they're just kind of pointing stuff out. There's the forest. Oh, Hogsmeade is ahead, and you can actually see it as you get closer to it. And the
that's the same.
That's when I realized the scope of this thing is for real.
Right.
Yeah.
I really thought it would just be like, hey, wait for me by the entrance, and then as soon as you step out the doors, it's like loading to Hogsmeade.
Same. I didn't think this was all going to be connected in any way.
I wouldn't have been mad if that's what it was, because that's what
I thought. Me neither. Yeah,
that's what I was expecting. Yeah,
but I was delighted to find you can actually. You can walk there or eventually fly.
And when you do get to the open world stuff, which I'm kind of in the middle of doing now, because now I'm getting all these missions, side quests. They're side quests. I'm a side quest whore in this game. I love doing them. As soon as they give me a mission now, they're saying, I need you to go pick up this thing and go over here and fly it over. Basically, I want you to get on your broom and go over to discover a new area you're not in yet. You've never been in yet. And you'll pick up new side quests in those areas too. Like as soon as you land, you'll start seeing new icons and you're like, what's that? What's that? You get open world syndrome, basically, where you're like, what's that? What's that?
They said that there's hundreds of side quests, and all of them have the potential to change something about like the main quest, whether it's just dialogue or little stuff. Not in any big way. No one's gonna have different missions.
Yeah, somebody saw me again and was like, "Aren't you the person that did this for that other guy or whatever?"
It's just like acknowledgement that you're doing stuff, within the main story. That if you don't do, they won't bring up.
That's almost like The Witcher, man. Like that's that kind of
very much so.
That's world building. That's what that is.
That's what my question is, and I don't know the answer, so I'm actually asking this question. So I'm purposely treating the students like trash, except for Sebastian.
That's cool. Because he's a trash human being too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll smart off to him a little bit, like I'm being a little secretive with him and stuff like that. But like, for instance, I told you I didn't tell the girl how I solved the riddle or whatever, and then I also got a girl's journal, and I was like, you might want to pay me some money to keep it a secret.
I'm playing it the same way, kind of.
I'm curious if
I can't. I'm just a good boy.
Dude, what did I say in the chat? I'm gonna be a bad boy wizard. I folded immediately in the game. I'm like, I'm a good guy.
You guys should see my character. I was trying to take a screenshot. For some reason, my PC was not taking screenshots. My character is literally wearing like the black, like the one that has the skulls moving.
I like that.
That's.
I'm wearing that with the hood over it, and then I have like a red face mask, so I literally look evil. It's awesome. In all the cutscenes, I'm wearing the mask and I've got the hood, and I'm just sitting there like, you might want to pay me money So I don't feel...
It almost is like a Fable type of thing where you can.
Yes,
and
it looks like
know.
Fable.
I don't know how much the morality system, like,
that's what I'm
alters
asking.
stuff. I'm interested to see like how
there's not like a meter in the
deep that
menus
is.
or something.
There's no tangible measurement for morality. I'm 12 hours in, and like my understanding is because I stumbled upon, unfortunately, a key moment in the story when I was doing a Google search for something, and it was like, here's how you can do this. So apparently the decisions you make do matter later in the story. And it changes the directions of where you're going to go and stuff and how the missions are going to play out. Yeah. But outside of that, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be like, oh, that guy's a dick. Like, you're not going to hear people chatting about you.
Yeah, and Fable, that's my favorite part is when you'd walk into town, people would be like, boo, or whatever.
It's so great.
The reason I was curious is because the way she reacted, she was so mad at me. She's like, I can't wait to write bad
I bet she'll remember. I imagine she'll remember.
Well, actually, I had circumstances where the side quests were somebody who presented themselves as being bullied, asking me to go do something for them. But the way they were asking me and the tone they were asking me was like so dickish. Like they were acting so entitled and like, hey, people bully me because I got attacked by this animal and they give me a nickname or whatever. Can you go to the forest and get something for me so it makes it seem like I'm brave? And I'm like, just go do it yourself if you want to be brave. Like, that's my thought process. So I went and did the thing and came back and said, nah, I'm going to keep what I found. You need to learn how to be brave. Like, there are elements
I don't know if we're
of
talking about the same thing, but in the school, there's a girl who asked me to collect like 6 balls or whatever.
I did that.
So
the party marbles.
So I got them, and then she's like, okay, give them to me. I'm like, nope, I'm going to keep them.
That person also said I'm bullied and was being kind of a dick when they were asking you to go do the thing.
Exactly. Like, I had no problem shutting her down.
They were kind of like, chip, chop, chip, go do it. Like, and you're like, who are you? Like, I just met you. No. Yeah. So like, and it was one of those things where the items that you were collecting were parts of a game where if you lose, you get sprayed with something smelly. So I mean, there's also an element of that where you're like, well, if they get these balls back, these marbles or whatever, then they're just going to keep playing the game and spraying people and nobody's going to like them. So I just kept the thing. Like, I just kept the stuff from them and I was like, don't play this game anymore. It's not a good game to play with. Yeah. So I'm kind of a dick in that sense, but whenever I'm presented with an option to be like, whenever it's like you get 2 options and one of them is like, yeah, let's do it, or the other one's like, oh, that sounds terrible, I avoid the, oh, that sounds terrible, because I do want to go do stuff, So there's some of it I'm not a dick towards.
Apparently you can lock yourself out of missions by like turning stuff down like that. Is what I heard. So yeah, if you're kind of negative, they'll be like, never mind.
Yeah. Derek, you're in Slytherin, right?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Me too.
Jeff, you're in Slytherin. Kyle,
I deliberately answered the Sorting Hat's questions in a way that I felt would land me in Slytherin. Not that any of them were nefarious questions, but I felt I knew the characteristics that belonged in Slytherin, so like I chose because I wanted this path. I wanted to be a Slytherin.
Yeah, it's fun. It's one of those things where like I know you know Harry Potter super well, so you know all the lore, but like you don't have to be a Harry Potter head to realize like Slytherin's probably the bad one. Like it sounds like
historically speaking, they are. They literally are. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like that word alone is kind of a giveaway. It's like you might as well just call it like
snake.
Yeah,
just call
like a snake or a serpent, which is classically
Stabby McStabberhouse.
Traitors.
The house betrayer.
House betrayer. Yeah. If you get sorted in that house, why don't they just kill you right there? Like I don't like Slytherin. Those are bad. We have to kill you. Sorry.
What's funny is I've done the sorting thing, the official sorting thing on the Potter website. And I answered them truthfully to me, and I'm actually a Ravenclaw, which is full of. That's like the nerdy house. Like those are like they're not tryhards or anything, but they're just like nerds, and they love. The intelligence is like their main thing.
You say that's what you're in, Kyle? You're in.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Harry Potter. It's not something that I grew up with or anything like that. So all of this stuff is new to me. So like I did the test and got Ravenclaw. And I was scrolling through and I'm like, oh, I like blue. Like that's a cool color,
it's a cool name. It's one of the
Raven or Eagle on there.
Name.
That's cool. Freedom and all that. I'm here for that.
It's a much cooler name than Hufflepuff. I think we can.
Hufflepuff is like, no. Yeah. Are we gonna go dancing after this? No, I don't want to do this. No.
So I picked that, and like I start meeting all my classmates, and I'm like, these kids are dorks.
Yeah.
Like super dorks. Like you know, like and
everybody in Slytherin so far, and Derek can attest to this. Like Sebastian, and then there's like a blind kid. Everybody is so angsty about something. Like they all have like this tortured past, and like they all have baggage, and they're all wearing it horribly. Like so, like it's kind of funny how
that's actually cool that you guys bring that up, because I actually again didn't do any research. I'm just playing this game I've only seen gameplay and stuff like that. And so as I was playing, I was like, oh, I bet you these characters are like the same, but
no.
They're not, and I like that. Nope. I like that you get different characters.
You even get different side quests. Yeah,
and you'll be introduced to them later.
Yeah,
Sebastian fits Slytherin so far.
But see, I've met Sebastian as a Gryffindor, just obviously through the main game kind of quest line in the story. Like I've met him now.
And you will continue to. Yeah, it doesn't matter what house you're in. Yeah,
but
he'll be a part of the story.
Probably talked to him in the common room already, for example.
Definitely.
He was probably in that. So that's just a cool thing. Like I talked to a kid with the last name Weasley. Shocker that a redhead named Weasley is in House Gryffindor. I know that's real shocking to those of you who watch any Harry Potters.
Yeah, it's like Gareth or something like that.
Gareth, yeah.
And so his aunt is a professor at school.
And then there's like the quirky kid who's like the girl who's walking along top of the fireplace. Like, I just like to see things from a new perspective. Like this, they have the quirky girl in Gryffindor, and they've got the pretty girl who's like studying really hard. So they kind of have like the.
This is crazy. I've seen none of these
that
people.
Person?
This is so cool.
Yeah.
This is so rad, dude. I can't wait to genuinely I'm gonna try and beat as much of this game as possible, but I am really curious to go and play, because Gryffindor, my understanding has the most side quests. Then it's Slytherin, then Hufflepuff, then Ravenclaw has the fewest side quests. But
too smart to
they got it all figured out. Why do you need side quests?
Smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to level up. We're ridiculously smart already.
So we've talked a lot about the open world, the design, and like the characters, the choices you can make. What about the combat? What do you guys think so far about this wand?
They nailed it.
It feels so good, and I did not. This is much like the open world traversal and stuff like that. This is not something I anticipated at all. I thought it would be like something.
How would you describe the combat to somebody? Like ranged with like dodging and parries a little bit.
It's like Forspoken was kind of doing that a little bit, but it feels like there's more going on in this game so far.
I almost dare say it's almost like playing like a mage, like in like a Souls game or something like that, but not obviously with things not as hard.
You're doing some dodging. You're
doing some dodging. You got some magic. You got your wand. I guess if you're spec that way and
eventually
stuff like that.
You get traits where you can upgrade your dodge to where it's a teleport, and you teleport to an enemy.
Cool. I forgot the name of the game, but it was like a PS2 and Xbox 360 game. I want to say it's like Psychesis or something like that. Whatever, where you would be fighting, but you'd be able to grab Psyops, and you'd be able to throw it. So it has a lot of that.
There's some of that too. Yeah, there's a bit of every
that's actually what I love about the game is it's got a really good like counter system. So again, this comes. By the way, I've said this 1,000 times. Expectations. If you have realistic expectations, you will get blown away and you'll enjoy life more.
Yeah.
This game, I had realistic expectations. In fact, I had low expectations. I thought this would be not a cash grab, but I just didn't expect it to have this much care and love. Mm-hmm. So when I was playing it, I thought, especially coming off Forspoken, I thought this game would be boring gameplay wise. It isn't really like Forspoken, because Forspoken's like you're literally acrobaticing all around.
It's super fast paced, which this really isn't. But like, boy,
but there's so much going on.
Wait until you unlock battle arenas. I just did one, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many enemies.
like when you're fighting some of these big dudes. Like, what did I do tonight?
Trolls.
I did LB, RB together, and he like he takes their weapon and cuts their head off. I was like,
it's a random ancient magic like finisher.
Yeah. Sometimes
it's random every time. It's something different.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome. And I was like,
so cool. Yeah.
not only am I just sitting here with a wand shooting and then I got to dodge, but I have all these different, which is to me feels RPG. You have all these different elements that you have to fight against. So some enemies are blocking with red, some are blocking with yellow. So you have to switch it up.
Yeah, so that means use a red attack or use a yellow attack.
Match. Yeah,
exactly.
But and you would go, okay, that makes the game. That would make the game easy. But when I was just fighting in an area where I had, no lie, like 10 goblins fighting me, and most of them were melee, but I had 2 or 3 shooting at me.
Yeah, they have a variety.
And then 2 or 3 of them in the arena had red and yellow. It gets chaotic when you're like, okay, I keep shooting at red, but I'm shooting regular. I need to switch it to a flame attack real quick just to get his shield down so I can actually hit him.
Right.
That's so cool.
So there's a lot going on, and it's not all the same. Like, you don't feel like you're doing the same. And then, like I said, as you're shooting at them, you'll see these like quick things where it'll say RB, and I'll just hit RB, and it'll just grab something and throw it at them. And it's all fast. It's all fast. So I don't know, man. I'm blown away by this game. Like,
and then it has a little like Batman Arkham like sprinkled in it too, because you get this nice little very recognizable like, hey, you're about to get hit thing that goes around your head, and you just slam that button or you press it in. You press it or you hold it, and if you press
hold it to do a counter spell.
Yeah, you press it, you do a quick shield, and like you'll block it, and it looks really cool, you know. Or you hold it and you like riposte back at them, and it like it's just super cool, like, and it feels good and it feels slick. So well, it has it's more arcadey obviously than like a Souls game, which I compared it to earlier. It's more of the tenets of a Souls game with all the evading and stuff like that, but it feels much more actiony and like almost like a Batman Arkham game with wands.
It takes like a quarter health down, even at my level, because I'm at like 22, 21, 20. I'm at level 20 something, 22 and 25% completion or whatever, and even having like 800 health or whatever,
they can smack you pretty good.
Yeah, so they want you to evade for sure, block and parry.
Are you playing this on easy or normal?
Easy, yeah, but
so and they're still doing that much damage. So imagine playing it on normal.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be like half health.
The way I was talking to my son about the combat of this, because he was like, I'm not really interested, and so then I let him try it, because he has an Xbox Series S in his room. He just saved up his money from working, and he upgraded to a Series S, and so he was like thinking about maybe getting this game. He was like, I don't know, it looks like it's just kind of like I like the movies, but I don't love them. It looks like just kind of not that great. And so I let him try it on the PS5, and he was like, this is actually kind of awesome. I was like, yeah, it is pretty awesome. But as we were talking about it, I was like, they nail the feel of this game already right away with the early combat and early exploration, the way that I think Fallen Order nailed the feeling of Star Wars, like the combat and the movie. Like, there was something about it that just clicked, and I was like, dude, this is Star Wars. This is how it should feel.
Yeah, this is Harry Potter.
And this feels like Harry Potter. So like that same like rush that you get as a fan of that series, and you're like, you're like, dude, I feel like I'm in this for real. And so, it's that same joy that I had playing.
It's not even something amazing happened in the beginning. What happened in the beginling cutscene where you're in a carriage that's airborne because it's magic, obviously, but you're being carried by invisible things, and you're like, what the hell's going on? But then as soon as somebody dies in front of you, those things become visible, which is lore from Harry Potter. I go, oh, this is a Harry Potter game. Like, I immediately was like,
that little touch. My daughter called that out too, because she's playing it. She's actually farther than I am. She's loving this game, but she called that out right away. She actually said, she had a big smile on her face. She was like, I love how they had the Thestrals show up after the guys.
That's what they are, Thestrals. Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. That was just a nice touch by someone who's making.
By the way, that opening was awesome.
That opening was so awesome.
I didn't see that happening. I'm like, okay, they're in this carriage and they're talking, and then
I thought it would be all talking, and then you would land at the school. Like, I thought it would just be
it would just be like a generic open world RPG intro where it's like, and here's this, but no, a dragon comes at you, then you're transported somewhere else, then you're at the bank. Then oh my god, dude, it's crazy how much stuff happens.
Cool. It's a very spectacular opening.
So again, not a big Harry Potter fan, but I've been to the Harry Potter like theme parks.
Oh, nice.
That's rad.
I'm
like
so jealous.
1,000 times. So when we got to like Hogsmeade,
sounds like he loves it.
Well, I actually do. Like,
it sounds rad. Yeah.
I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I always wanted to go to there because I like themed.
It looks amazing.
I think I just love really themed things.
By the way, butterbeer,
I really want to try that most of all. That and I want to get my own wand, but I know that's like a lot of money. So
is butterbeer pretty much like? Is it like
it's worth paying the.
Is it like a cream? Is it like a cream soda malt kind of a thing, or what is it?
It's like a cream soda with like a froth like topping.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Really good. It's really good. Yeah. But anyways, the reason I bring that up is because the first time I walked into like Hogsmeade, I was like, maybe I'm a huge fan of like Harry Potter, and I just
yeah.
This feels so good, and like when you do like when you complete like little tasks, and it does that little like that little magic silhouette. I'm like, this is so freaking cool. Like it pulled up so much nostalgia from being in those Harry Potter. I say theme parks, but the areas of the theme parks, which were all Harry Potter, and that's what's playing the whole time. Like you feel like you're in a Harry Potter movie when you're in the theme park. When I'm playing this game, I feel like I'm in the movie. Like they've nailed everything.
The music's really good in this game.
Oh yeah,
like,
the music's
very
fantastic.
Good. Yeah. Just from the ambient stuff, from just walking around to the big moments.
It changes too. When you're in the room of requirement, it's something a little more nutty and it's like playful. Nice. And it's cool, by the way. The room of requirements. Yeah. So cool, man. Like, I mean, I got like so far I only have like a potions desk and a small plant desk, and then I got a large plant, and that's it. That's because there's so much money. They're like thousands of dollars to make these things. So or coins, in-game coins. So I only have that and then like some chairs or whatever. But like it's still so cool that you can like customize it at your will, like using spells and stuff. Just like make stuff disappear, change the color, change the theme of the whole room. They didn't need to add all this stuff. That's my point, is like they added all this stuff to show that they cared about Harry Potter in the world.
This feels like
you feel it.
This
on the
feels like a developing team that was like, look, we already know we're going to make a ton of money off this, but we don't care. We just want to make like an actual fun game. Like we are gamers. I'm not saying this is actually who they are. It just feels this way. We are gamers. We want to make a good Harry Potter.
Yeah, they're like,
game.
no one's made one of these yet. No one's made an truly excellent Harry Potter game yet.
Yeah,
like
there are our favorites because of being like, I mean, for me being fans of the books and the movies.
There's been some fun ones, but
a handful of favorites.
There's been no like,
I've never
dude, this
played a Harry Potter game.
This is universally excellent. Like there's
this is just a good game, and it's a really good open world game, and just even the way that the world is unfolding to we're all hours in, some of us more than others, but it seems like none of us are into like the deep open world portions of it. You know what I mean? So it's like the way that they just kind of like spoon feed you.
Yeah.
The way that the world opens up before you and stuff like that.
I'm just now seeing that bigger open world.
It's an incredible pace. Yeah. It's one of the it's one of the best. And Witcher kind of did the same thing, where it's like, hey, here's a small open area that like this is kind of a taste of what, but like it's just there's something to be said about the way that a game dumps you into its like bigger like ideas and stuff like that. And this game nails it in every way. And again, as someone who doesn't know any of the jargon or anything like that, the game meets me on my terms, and like I'm picking up on the lingo. Like by the end of this, I'm gonna be a Harry Potter dude. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna know when people talk about Harry Potter. I'm gonna know what they're talking about finally. You know what I mean?
Because it's the little touches that make it feel like that world. It's the things like the paintings moving but talking to you, and the ghosts flying around.
Dude,
and
the knights are so funny.
You can stop
knights that are just like dancing sometimes, or like they're arguing.
I could have sworn I saw one move and elbow the other, and then they stopped when I looked at them.
Yeah,
it was.
I saw one push the other one over completely, and the other one gets up and he goes, "What was that for?" Like it's just, it's so random, and sometimes I don't know if something's talking at me or to me or something like that. So like I'll stop dead in my tracks. Who said that?
Exactly.
It's just super immersive.
For example, each of the flue flames that you can fast travel through, every time you spawn somewhere, there's actually a face there that can talk to you.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that the whole time. I'm like, who the hell's talking? And it's like, oh, there's a face on the flue flame. Okay, I didn't know that. And also the gargoyles say some of the funniest stuff too. Like they're like, can't believe they put me next to this stupid painting and stuff. Like it's just so funny hearing some of the statues and stuff. I wanted to mention as well the upgrade system, like because I think I don't remember what level it is or what story moment, but eventually you do unlock traits, and that allows you to upgrade certain spells. And but they're all kind of broken up by sections. Like there's a dark art section that allows you to apply curses to enemies, and so like example, when you can use it most beneficially to when you're countering, and you parry and do a counter spell, and your counter spell Stupefy curses them, and when an enemy is cursed, they take more damage. So definitely do that, and also do all the upgrades for additional spell sets, because right now when you start the game, right, you start with 4 spells. And you can upgrade to up to 4 spell sets, meaning you can have up to, what is that? I can't do math right now. What's 4 times 4? 16. You can have up to 16 spells. Like, you just toggle, basically. You hold the right bumper and you press up, right, down, left on the D-pad, and you can toggle between certain spells. So like sometimes your battle's going to get chaotic because it's like, no, I want to try this spell now. No, I want to try this one. It just depends on how much. That's what the assignments unlock, basically. If you do extra assignments from your teachers, you get to unlock way more spells that the story won't let you see, basically. Like, I got one that's like, it freezes your enemies, literally like a glacier. Like, it freezes them. And cool. That's awesome. Like, there's just so many, god dang, there's so much stuff in this game, man. It's kind of blowing my mind.
Yeah. It's really exciting too because they talk about things that are way outside of Hogwarts. Like the one friend you meet, Natty, I think her name is, and she talks.
She the one
about
that plays the game with you, the Accio game,
yeah, and she talks about her school of witchcraft and wizardry down in Uganda, how it's way bigger. And they don't use wands down there. Like I had a like I don't know if you guys did that, but like if you chat with her about that stuff,
I did chat with her.
Explain how her school's like much bigger. They don't use wands, but it kind of looks cool that they use wands here. So I'm used to like so that made me start thinking like, oh, there's a huge world outside of Hogwarts.
Yeah,
like, I love the idea of like my mind already, even though I'm so early in this game, I'm already thinking like, ooh, what do they do next? Like I can't wait to explore more of the wizarding.
That reminds
world,
me, there's a dueling club or whatever, and they're kind of off
like a
the
secret
books.
Club or whatever.
Yeah, but I beat all of them. I beat all those side quests already, and at the end, they're like, I was bragging about my skills, and the guy I was talking to, who's like a 3rd year, so he's like hasn't hit puberty yet. But he was like, well, if you think you're that good, you should go to Durmstrang. And Durmstrang is the school where it's like a military school with dudes, nothing but dudes. And they're just like, they're just the most dangerous wizards.
When they come marching in during the 4th movie, they're doing like the Russian march with the big leader up front. Yeah.
Those guys are a danger and sponge. Hey man, set the next game there. That's what I'm gonna say. I want to see what the hell that school's about.
Or they'll put like a San Andreas where they have like 3 schools that you can go between or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
God, there's just so much going on in this game. I'm getting like lost because I'm so far ahead. I'm getting kind of lost in like what I want to talk about, but it could be safe to move on. I don't know.
And the only drawbacks of this game so far are like the face animations while they're talking, and it's not. It's not. I shouldn't say drawback. That's
not all the time.
It's an over exaggeration. It's more just like it's not excellent. It's not like to the level of you just play God of War or even the second Horizon game has a huge step up in their facial animations from their first game. So like
they're not so much just doing gestures, repeating gestures that don't match the words. Yeah.
Right. So,
but again, in Hogwarts Legacy, I will say the actual cinematic cutscenes look awesome. And then as soon as you start doing stuff. It's like the in-game question and answer stuff that's like, well, they just look robotic, Yeah,
which is totally fine. It has a little bit of a last generation, like a good-looking last generation game vibe to it as they're talking. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
I agree.
But I was trying to think of like, hey, are there any ways to make sure people don't think we're just gushing about it because we just want to be positive? Like, no, it's truly an excellent game. It's deserving of the almost 90 it has on Metacritic. I think it's at an 89 at its highest level.
At 90 if we didn't have a lot of stupid reviewers that were.
Agreed.
Dude, there was one that was like they literally started the review with like, I hate everything about this game existing. Like, and I'm like, so they gave it a 1 out of 10, and it's like, okay, you're telling me the game is literally a 1 out of 10.
That sounds like a user review.
Not.
Like, let that be a user review. That's not a professional outlet.
Exactly.
Hey, that's our next tryhard tracker, you guys. Is game
there we go.
Let's get there.
Also, I wanted to mention that I know why I felt I was missing something. The puzzles in the game, they're totally optional, but there are some doors that you'll see that have math equations on them. I highly recommend at least Googling those and figuring those out because I can't explain it verbally. You'll just have to read about it. Okay. But because that nets you a lot of extra coin and a good gear. And then there's the chests that are eyes, and they have like eyes, and as soon as you come up close to them, they latch the chests. Those only have coin in them. So the way to get those is you use the disillusion. What is it called? Disillusion charm. where you can go invisible.
Yeah.
You can make yourself invisible and you can sneak up to it and open it. So that's like sometimes you have to look these things up to find out what the hell am I supposed to do here. And then there's Merlin trials, which allow your gear inventory slots to go up, increase. So nice. Now I'm at, because at 20 is a stupid number. That's a really low number. So I'm up to 28 now, and I rarely get full.
Yeah, and get in the habit of, like, if you're not using that piece of gear, sell it, because like it's not doing you any good in your inventory, and it's super quick to fill up your inventory, and destroying it nets you nothing. Like in some games it might give you material or something like that. No, you're wasting money, which is kind of hard to come by in the early hours of the game. I know later, as you start like poaching animals or whatever, you can grab animals and then sell them and whatnot. Like that's a good way to make money. But like until then, there's no consistent way to make money outside of just exploring and everything like that. So make sure you're selling and everything. So that's interesting. I didn't know that the Merlin trials gave you a bigger inventory, because that will clear up a lot of my problems too.
Yeah, now I'm at a point where it's like I did 2 and that gave me 4 extra slots. I did 6. That gave me 4 extra slots. Now I'm up to like, okay, go fight 10 more, and I'm like, oh my god, 10 more.
Like about this game is so a lot of games I won't do challenges. Like anything that I have to like research or read, I'm like, nope. Just if it doesn't like just happen organically, or you give me an absolute reason to do it, I'm not going to do it. This game
doesn't sound like very Souls-like of you, but continue.
I'm only Souls-like in Souls games.
Fair enough.
But like for this game, like the challenges are kind of just unlocking themselves as I progress naturally.
Yeah.
And everything that I'm doing, I want to do. So I'm just like running into stuff, and I'll just be like, okay, that looks interesting. I do it, and then I'll be like, boom, completed this challenge. Boom, completed this challenge. And then I go into the challenge and look at it, and you receive this reward, and you receive this reward, and I'm like, hey, these are things I actually want. And so now I'm looking at the challenges and going, okay, I want to do this, even though I normally wouldn't do it. Now I'm going, I want that reward, so I want to do that.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I just feel like, again, I know I'm gloating or whatever, but I am blown away by how good everything is. Now I'm only in my first 4 hours, so maybe in 15, 20 hours, I'll be like,
it'll increase for you, I think.
It only gets worse. It's all downhill.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that I'm still in the first third, and then like by close to the end of the second third, I'll be like, oh god, we're still doing this. I'm hoping it doesn't have that effect on me. But
I feel like
so far the reward system is really good.
I feel like it's going to be how I play every open world game, and that is I get obsessed with just doing everything and leveling my character up and getting the best loot, and then something switches, which normally, to be honest, it's, hey, this other game's coming out, I need to finish this, because I like to finish things before I move on to something else. And so that's when I'll just start mainlining the story. And that's why a lot of times I'll switch to open world games. I'll go, all right, I'm going to play on easy now because I want no resistance. So I imagine that's what's going to happen with this game. I'm going to absolutely love my first 10, 15 hours, do everything, level up, get as badass loot as I can, get really good at the combat, and then I'm going to be like, you know what? I really want to see how the story plays out, because I also want to play other games. And
same here. I feel the same way.
So I definitely will do that. And then eventually, because you guys know me, I've been on this podcast long enough, I usually go back and play these open world games. If they're good enough, I play them again. And my second playthrough, because I already know everything, I'm usually not rushing, and I'm just like enjoying the game again. So I kind of see this game as being that type of game where it's like, I'm absolutely loving how they're drawing me into everything. I'm loving everything. I'm blown away by everything. It's the best game I've played so far this year.
Definitely.
I mean, I know we're February 10th, but we've also
there's still been some good games.
It's been a big year already.
I've already played like 3 or 4 really good releases this year. So this is a really, really good, and one of those at the end of the year. Well, I will say to everybody, this was unexpected. This is a surprise release for me.
Even for those of us that were excited for it, like this was like one of my number 1 or 2 most anticipated of the year. I still didn't expect it to be like this level of good.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited for it.
I was like nervous excited for it. I was like, please don't be bad. Please don't be
I know,
bad.
that's all of us were saying that up until release. We were like, oh god, please.
It feels like where we are with games media and stuff like that. No, we're not talking. I'm not even talking about the crap with this game. I'm talking about general games media. There's a lot of negative Nancy's out there, so it's really hard to release a high reviewing game because a lot of people will just hate on you just to hate on you. So this game had all the reasons in the world to be hated by games media, and yet still, for the most part, yes, there are some slow or low ballers that I thought were ridiculous, but most of them are 8s and above. And they're saying this, they're singing the praises of this game.
It's crazy to think about the controversy, which we're not going to dive into. I'm not.
You don't need to. Nobody.
It's interesting that even despite the controversy, it's still reviewed that well. That really speaks to how undeniably good the game is.
And while I'm aware of the controversy and stuff like that, like most stuff I see is very positive. You know what I mean? Whether it's a review or someone talking about it or the three of y'all gushing about it, you know, like it's just like it. I feel like there's
feed is now full of people like glowing. Did you know you could do this in the game?
Like it's the most streamed game right now. It's one of the most best-selling IPs.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the squeakiest wheels don't represent a majority of people. So sometimes it's better just to let them squeak away and be there whining whatever.
Well, unfortunately,
some of them are professional reviewers.
I think sometimes I'm guilty of this. I think everyone on this podcast is guilty of this. Sometimes we assign too much to just a loud, small, very small subset of loud voices about a thing. We're like, man, people are mad about this. And it's like, actually, there's only like 4 people out of the millions are mad about it. They're just loud and have a big microphone. So like sometimes that's the case. And 4 is an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. Like it
happens all the time.
Happens all the time. But you know, it's great to see how well this one's doing. You guys actually gave me an idea for our next Try Hard Tracker segment. We're gonna find games that are universally beloved. So like we'll have to set like if they're like a 88 or 87 and above on Metacritic, let's find the most try-hard reviews on those, and we'll rank the most try-hard reviews.
We gotta find the equivalent. There's an equivalent of that in movies, and there's this reviewer named Armand White, who every movie that had like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for several weeks, he's the one that goes, no, it's terrible, and then like tanks that freaking score.
So it goes at 98.
Like Get Out, for example. Get Out was at 100% for several weeks, and then he turned into his review, and it dropped it down, and everybody was like, his review, it doesn't even make sense. It's just like, it's not as good as everybody says, so therefore it's rotten.
That's where those aggregate sites need to be a little more aware. Like, all right, don't count this guy because he's ridiculous.
Exactly. This guy's just a tryhard.
That's why I've learned, and I'm not saying I didn't care about reviews before. I absolutely did. I used to fight on social media about review scores
way more.
Stuff all the time because I really did care about like, how could you say this game is bad if I love it? Now I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. I still watch reviews. I still check meta, but I'm like, I kind of want to form my own opinion now. So I don't actually want to go in with any clouded version of what I'm about ready to experience. So I like to experience things on my own. So even if I'll check a score or something like that, I usually won't read the review because I don't want to know your opinion. I don't want to know why you don't like it and all that stuff. Unless it's a game I'm like scared to buy. Like Wanted Dead, like that's coming out. I want to buy it, but I'm still like, is it really going to be good? Or
it is.
So I will check.
It is going to be good.
It is going to be good.
But for this game, I was like, I don't want to be clouded by anything. So I didn't pay attention to what anybody said. And I just went into it with my own low expectations. And I absolutely loved it. And I think that's the best way to approach most games is if you're uncertain about something and you want actual feedback to help you buy something, totally understandable. But don't let other people's opinions cloud your enjoyment because you're like, well, they don't like it. Why do I like it? Something's wrong with me. No, just like it if you like it. If you don't like it and everybody else likes it, don't be a tryhard, but, you know, don't like it.
I find that people, and this is mainly coming from the movie sphere because that's kind of what I pay attention to more, the main example from last year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. People were letting the praise of that movie, some people that I know personally, were letting the praise of that movie get too loud and taking it, like weighing it into their experience watching the movie for the first time. And it's like, guys, that's on you. Like, that's not on the people that love the movie. I'm sorry. Right. Like, I mean, Agreed. It's the same thing for games. It's really on you how you take the information.
Whether it's negative or positive. If you take too much on of other people's
You're choosing the baggage you bring in with you.
That actually happened with that movie. I still haven't finished that movie. And again, I didn't know what I was getting into when I watched it. So I didn't know what the movie was about. but I heard nothing but great things from specifically you guys, but other people too. And so I started watching. I'm like,
pretty loud.
This isn't that great. This isn't that great. And then I just walked away from it. And I'm like, I'll just watch it again when I'm in the mood. Maybe I'm just not in the mood to watch a movie and pay attention. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I'll put a movie on. I'm like, I'm not even.
That's kind of in my phase right now because last month was Sundance for me, and I logged like 100-something entries for the month of January in terms of movies on Letterboxd. So like now I'm in a phase of like I can't pay attention to it. Like there's a movie that I talked about with Kyle on Current Cinema. I didn't even finish it. I just know the movie really well. Like so, like I got like a 3/4 of the way through it, and I was like, I'm not really in the mood to sit down and watch a movie right now. I kind of want to just play this game forever.
There you go.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yes, so it's fair to say Hogwarts Legacy is a very good game. We'll be talking about it more in the coming weeks because it is such a big game. It's an open world RPG, so much to explore. We'll be talking more.
And it's incentivizing replays because we already know you're going to have 4 different experiences,
right?
Depending on the house you're in. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, yep. So there's good replay value there if you enjoy your time. So yeah, there you go. Hogwarts Legacy has delivered in beyond, I think, what we were expecting.
Yeah.
So looking forward to playing that some more over the next few weeks.